Hello and welcome to Research Matters podcasts. Today, I, Aishwarya Viswamitra, and my colleague Vimal Simha will talk to you about the announcement of this year's Nobel Prize. In 1895, the Swedish chemist Alfred Nobel established the Nobel Prizes. The award is presented annually to exemplaries in the fields of medicine and physiology, chemistry, physics, economic sciences, and literature. Each recipient receives a gold medal, a diploma, and a sum of money decided by the Nobel Foundation. Some of the past recipients of this award from India include C.V. Raman, Amartya Sen, and Rabindranath Tagore. This year, the announcement of prizes were made in October, and the prize will be awarded on the 10th of December. 14 pioneers from across the world were recognized for their contributions to the field of physics, chemistry, medicine, economics, literature, and peace.
First off, let's start with the Physics Nobel Prize for this year. The prize this year has been split in two. One half of the prize has been awarded to James Peebles, a Canadian-American astrophysicist, for theoretical discoveries in physical cosmology. Cosmology is the study of the origin and evolution of the universe from the Big Bang, which is believed to have occurred about 14 billion years ago, to the present day. Over the last half-century, our understanding of how the present-day universe, with its galaxies and vast clusters of galaxies has come about, has become increasingly precise. James Peebles has made several key calculations and has developed theoretical models that further our understanding of the universe's origin and evolution. Nobel Prizes are usually awarded for a specific discovery or invention, and therefore Peebles' prize is slightly unusual as it rewards new understanding of the universe's structure and history. The other half of the prize, however, is shared between Swiss astronomers Michel Mayor and Didier Queloz for the discovery of an exoplanet orbiting a star similar to our Sun. People have long speculated about the possibility of planets orbiting stars other than the Sun. But in 1995, Mayor and Queloz were the first to discover such a planet by carefully tracking the position of a star and measuring the gravitational effects of a planet on a star called 51 Pegasi, 50 light years away from us. Since then, more than 4,000 exoplanets have been discovered using many other methods. The discovery of these exoplanets has brought us one step closer to answering the question, are we alone in the universe and is there life out there?
Now moving on to the winners in chemistry. The mobile phone or the laptop you're using to listen to this podcast runs on a lithium ion battery. These batteries have recently enabled the storage of energy from renewable sources like solar power and wind energy. The advantage of lithium ion batteries is that they can be charged hundreds of times before their performance deteriorates, thus making them environment friendly. However, their development wasn't a sudden invention and saw the work of many scientists. Of them, John B. Goodenough from Germany, M. Stanley Whittingham from the UK, and Akira Yoshino from Japan are recognized in this year's Nobel Prize in Chemistry. The development of lithium-ion batteries began with Stanley Whittingham. Due to the oil crisis in the 1970s, a need for fossil fuel-free energy technologies arose. During his research on superconductors, he discovered that titanium disulfide, an extremely energy-rich material, could be used to create the cathode in the lithium battery, which would then make it extremely powerful. However, the metal lithium made the battery highly reactive and explosive. John B. Goodenough proposed using a metal oxide instead of titanium disulfide. He demonstrated that cobalt oxide, intercalated with lithium ions, could be used to make the cathode safer without losing power. Akira Yoshino swapped out the highly reactive pure lithium anode for a more stable one made out of petroleum coke intercalated with lithium ions. Finally, in 1985, he created the first commercially viable lithium-ion battery, which has since revolutionized portable electronics.
The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali for his important work to promote reconciliation, solidarity and social justice, and in particular for his decisive initiative to resolve the border conflict with neighbouring Eritrea. The Nobel Prize in Literature was awarded to the Austrian author Peter Handke for an influential work that with linguistic ingenuity has explored the periphery and the specificity of human experience.
The next Nobel Prize I'm going to talk about is the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. This year, the prize was awarded jointly to the American oncologist William G. Kaelin Jr., British physician-scientist Sir Peter J. Ratcliffe, and American physician Greg L. Semenza for their contributions to understanding how cells sense and adapt to oxygen availability. Oxygen makes up about 1/5 of the Earth's atmosphere and is needed by animals to convert food into useful energy. Red blood cells in our bloodstream transport oxygen to the body cells. The hormone erythropoietin, or EPO, stimulates the production of red blood cells in the mammalian body. So, when levels of oxygen are low, a condition called hypoxia, the production of this hormone is stimulated. Oxygen sensing mechanisms have evolved in our bodies to maintain cell and tissue homeostasis, which is a stable condition in the body. And these mechanisms help body cells adapt to the chronic low oxygen conditions resulting due to illnesses like cancer. Understanding this complex machinery has enabled pharmaceutical companies to develop drugs against such diseases by activating or blocking the oxygen sensing mechanism. Greg Semenza used gene-modified mice to show that specific DNA segments located next to the gene that codes for the EPO hormone mediates the response to hypoxia. Semenza called the proteins produced by these DNA segments as hypoxia-inducible factor, or HIF. Von Hippel-Lindau's disease, or VHL disease, is an inherited condition where a mutation in a gene leads to an increased risk of certain cancers. William Kaelin Jr. not only showed that the VHL gene encodes a protein that prevents the onset of cancer, but also demonstrated that cancer cells with a mutated VHL gene also express abnormally high levels of hypoxia-regulated genes, indicating a condition of hypoxia in the body cells. But when the VHL gene was reintroduced into cancer cells, normal levels were restored. In parallel, Sir Peter Ratcliffe and his team went on to establish a link between the VHL gene and the HIF gene, where the VHL gene regulated HIF's ability to induce production of EPO.
The Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel is sometimes informally referred to as the Nobel Prize in Economics. However, unlike the 5 Nobel Prizes bequeathed by Alfred Nobel, this prize was established by Sweden's central bank in 1968 to recognize contributions to the field of economics. This year's prize was awarded to the Indian-American economist Abhijit Banerjee, the French-American economist Esther Duflo, and the American economist Michael Kremer for their experimental approach to alleviating global poverty. By carrying out experiments, the researchers attempt to identify specific measures that can best help to alleviate global poverty. They've carried out a number of field experiments in the fields of education, healthcare, access to credit, and adoption of new technology in India and Kenya. For example, in one study, school children were divided into 2 groups. The same quantity of additional resources was spent differently on each group. One was given free school meals, while the other was given textbooks, and outcomes were measured at the end of the experiment. One of their most well-known findings is that teaching adapted to students' needs and levels of attainment is often a better use of resources compared to alternatives like additional textbooks or free meals. The experimental methods are similar to clinical trials in pharmaceutical research, but are novel in economics. While the results obtained are certainly valid for the population that is studied, one of the key issues with such studies is to establish causal relationships and understand whether the results have general applicability. This year's laureates are also at the forefront of research aimed at better understanding such issues and extracting general conclusions.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Research Matters podcast. For more such podcasts and news, please log on to www.researchmatters.in.